idea that was coming down? What was your reaction?
I was pretty sure I was going to get moved somewhere. Wasn't sure. To be honest, New Orleans hadn't came up one time. So when I got a call about it, I was excited because this was always a team that was a tough matchup on any team I've been on. So, I'm excited to get to work.
Had you played with any guys on this team before? Do you have any pre-existing relationships?
I never played with anyone on this team besides Jackson on PlayStation. On FIFA. We're on the same Pro Clubs team. But I've known Larry for a while, so other than that, I don't think.
And Josh, who reached out to you first? Was it Griff, the coach? Who did you talk to?
Jackson. Jackson FaceTime as soon as it happened. Griff called me. Him and the assistant GM. He's a GM or assistant GM?
Griff?
Trajan.
Trajan. Yeah. Them two called me. Coach Green called me. And, that's how it went. That's the first year.
How was your first day of practice today?
It's good. Just picking up on the concepts, but the guys were great. Coaches were great. Can't really ask for more, and the concepts are not too much to pick up, so it was good.
You played against these guys a bunch, obviously, with the Spurs and over the last couple of years. What was your impression maybe from the outside of just the kind of the young talent that they have and just the potential that this team has?
A lot of talent, a lot of length. It's always tough to play against those guys. You got Herb just messing everything up on defense. B.I., Trey. Those three guys are just like 20 feet of arms. So a lot of potential. So hopefully, we get Z back, get everybody healthy. I think we can make some noise.
What do you think that you can add to this team or bring?
I'm just kind of a common presence. Shooting, defending, communication, just basic intangibles really.
Brandon said that you're known for your defense. He said he doesn't know anything about your personality yet, though, so that's still out there for him to decide, I guess. But what do you bring personality-wise?
I think everybody would say I'm pretty easy to get along with. I'm just kind of cool, just kind of do what I do, just chill. Big team guy, team first guy, and any way I can help, I'm really open to it.
When you said you expected to be moved, was that for any particular reason beyond the expiring contract? Was there any other reason you thought you were going to?
I mean, just to get to play, for something bigger, you know what I'm saying? To be able to play in the postseason. The Spurs were great to me. I have no complaints. We communicated the whole time. And so, I can't be anything but grateful to them. Pop was amazing to me the whole year I was there. So, it was smooth the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, a little more to that, what are your thoughts on just going from a rebuilding situation to one where the season ended today, they'd be in the play-in and they're trying to make the playoffs outright?
It's a little different look, you know what I'm saying? And, I personally am happy to be able to, play in these situations and to be able to, kind of have that little bit of pressure on us is always fun. So, the Spurs are great, and those young guys over there are really learning and picking up a lot of things. And so I was glad to be able to stay there and help them. But, for my own career, I think that this move is going to be good for me to be able to take another step and, try to help the Pelicans win games.
What do you know about head coach Willie Green? What are you looking forward to as far as working with him?
As a player, I know he was tough. I know he was, real hard-nosed, but, I don't really know anything about him as a coach. From the 2 days I've been here, the guys kind of said he's just about business, but everybody kind of takes to him. So I'm excited to see, how the day-to-day is.
Did y'all overlap as players at all?
This is your 8th year, right?
This is my 8th year.
Mm-hmm.
He's been coaching. His last year.
I'll have to look it up.
He might have left right before I got in the league, I think. Yeah.
I'll look it up.
So you just knew him as a player from watching it?
Yeah. From watching him. And I knew who he was, his career. So as a coach, I just hadn't really seen it yet.
Did you know he can still dunk?
I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that.
Had a windmill recently.
I can't even win. Respect.
And this is the first opportunity we've had to speak to you all. Really excited about Josh Richardson, a player we've liked for quite a while. We really appreciate the human he is, first and foremost. Absolutely fits with us, fits in our locker room, the kind of guy that everybody really relates to in a positive way. From a playing perspective, gives us a little more size, gives us a little more lineup versatility, and has a similar shooting profile to Devontae. Devontae's a player we care a great deal about and think incredibly highly of. It was not a real easy thing to do to move on from Devontae in many ways, and at the same time, I think Devontae would tell you he's probably landed in a better situation for him in terms of opportunity. We had a really good conversation with Devontae afterwards and with his agent, and feel very confident that they enjoyed their time here, but understand they're in a better place, and it's good for him. We saw he had 31 the other night, so we were pretty pleased for him. Again, Josh is somebody that we hope gives us a little more lineup versatility and gives the coaches a little bit more of a jack-of-all-trades player, perhaps. And that's important for us as we've been navigating all of these injuries. We've learned that the versatility has been good for us. As you know, initially when Zion and B.I. were out, we navigated the loss of those guys really well. And then I think what happened was we rode the wheels off the guys we were asking to play up higher, and it was inevitable that we were going to lose a little bit and have some slippage in that. And fortunately, I think we've kind of recalibrated ourselves and got ourselves back into a good space energetically. Coach will talk to you all after from a team perspective. The one thing I do want to clarify for everybody, Zion, I know Coach had alluded to it, Tuesday may not play till after All-Star break. We've actually earlier this week confirmed that Zion did re-aggravate his hamstring injury. I think we're looking at multiple weeks past All-Star break that he'll be back. What that looks like in terms of timeline, I really can't tell you. Much as we have throughout this, we'll continue to image him, and post All-Star that will happen. It won't necessarily happen the day after All-Star, but at some point we'll get through that process once the team gets back together post All-Star from the break and reassess where we're at and try to have a little more clarity on a timeline. But for now, we know that he won't be back anytime shortly after.
How did he re-aggravate it?
So he was actually on the court. He had progressed to the point where he was able to do contact a little bit. He had been doing one-on-one. He had progressed to 3-on-3, and it happened on the floor.
Yeah, and I know emotionally injuries have been difficult for him. Just
Yeah.
how is he taking it and that side of things?
Well, I think it's fair to say not terribly well, because he was really diligent in his rehab and in the process. And unfortunately, this is an injury that has a very high incidence of recurrence. It's nothing he did wrong to bring this about. He was very diligent in the process, and it is what it is, unfortunately. It's an injury that is tricky and hard to navigate. So I think you've seen other players around the league have those same re-incidents. It's not unique. In fact, multiple All-Stars have had multiple incidents of these. So it's not an unusual injury, and it's just unfortunate he was one of those guys.
What do you feel like you guys got to do, just knowing that you're going to be a couple more weeks without him and making this push towards the postseason?
Well, I think it's a blessing for our team, and Coach can speak to this better than I can, but it's a blessing for our team that we know we can be really good. We know that we've done this before, and we understand what the next man up mentality means. This team has proven they can be very good exactly as they're constructed now. Obviously, Josh is a new piece of that, but I mean, this group as a whole has achieved quite a bit together, and they believe in one another. So I think the important thing is we're all very disappointed for Z. His teammates are disappointed for him, but we know what's at stake, and I think everybody knows what comes next.
As far as trade deadline stuff, how did you guys balance being aggressive and upgrading your roster versus not overextending yourselves?
Well, boy, it was crazy in that market, I'll tell you that. Things got wild from a pick standpoint. Look, the rest of the West got better. Much of the West got better. And the trade deadline is most often hurry up and wait. And unfortunately, in the waiting this year, another team was getting better each time. And so it was a challenge for us to stay the course and to believe in exactly what it is we're doing. We weren't really involved in anything of an epic nature, really. We believed in the group, and we wanted to continue to build in a sustainable, mindful way. You look at the landscape coming out of the West, it's a grinder, just like it was before. But I think the balance for us was really, we've got a really, really good locker room. We've got young kids we believe in at a really high level that we're very much in demand. And the idea of for lack of a better terminology, loading the gun and going after it right now. This wasn't the time at the prices that were being paid to do anything substantial, and frankly, I don't think we could have come to an agreement on any of the pieces people wanted from us that we were willing to part with. So.
When is the right time in the life cycle of the team to really push the chips in the middle of the table?
It's hard to know. It's easier to know when the timing is not than when it is, because we're all just guessing ultimately at the end of the day. We felt very strongly that this was a team that's poised to take a step forward exactly as it's constituted. And forward is good for us in terms of where we go next. We've been a very good team, in fact, played at a very high level, even in the absence of Brandon and Zion at one point. And then I think we just sort of ran aground because you can only do that for so long. So we're confident that we'll be able to play well the rest of the year and into a playoff run. But in terms of the right time for that, I don't know that you always know exactly when, but I know you know when not to, and this was just not the right timing for us. Thanks, guys.
Think about it. You guys going to be without Z for a couple weeks. What's just the mentality, knowing that it's going to be a while before you get him back?
A part of it is difficult in the sense that we we all feel for Z having to navigate these injuries. And then a part of it is, it's an opportunity for guys to kind of band together and go out and play our best basketball. There's some good in it. There's also some difficulties in it. And so we'll navigate it as such.
And you've talked about as a player, like when you have injuries, it takes a mental toll on you. How important is just like not getting too down for him going to be during this process, I guess?
It's extremely important. Trying to get into a good mental space, doing all the things you can to get back on the floor. So it's going to be important for him to continue to attack the rehab, to give himself an opportunity to get back on the floor and join his teammates. For the rest of the guys, it's the same things that I talked about. We created a standard. We know how we want to play. Guys have to do it. And we all have to kind of come together while Z is out and try to put forth our best foot.
Yeah, does it help at all? You guys were in, unfortunately, a similar position last year, and you made the play and you made the playoffs. Does that help you at all this year?
It does. It helps our confidence. It gives us not only the belief, but the results to know that we can do it. I think Griff mentioned it, but there's some teams in the West that got better. We believe that we took a step forward. Now we just got to continue to go do the things that we know we are capable of, and then our margin for error becomes smaller. So less mistakes on our part as a team, and we just got to continue to come with a defensive mindset. Our offense has to be clicking on all cylinders, and so those are the things that we'll work on over the next few weeks.
And Coach, to change it up, how's Josh Richardson look during his first day of practice?
He looked really good, making the right plays, making shots. He's guarding, he's defending. So we're excited to have Josh on our team, and we look forward to getting him out on the floor in OKC.
How important is it going to be to have his veteran presence on his team, because you guys are still relatively young?
Another aspect and component of what Josh brings is, like you said, his experience. He's played on some really good teams, played in some high-level games. He adds that to our program. It's something that we kind of sought after, especially, like you said, with having a young team as we do. But we look forward to getting him on the floor and allowing him to just blossom here in our program.
Do you expect to have Dice on this upcoming road trip?
We don't.
Okay.
No.
And I know, as any team that loses, a really important player can struggle on the offensive end. Are there things you look to do offensively, knowing you're going to be without Z for a while or anything like that?
Yeah, we're going to play through Brandon and CJ and Jonas a bit more, but more importantly is us going out, playing fast, making sure that we're taking care of the basketball on the offensive end. That's extremely important for us to give ourselves an opportunity to score. And then paint the good to great situations. Continue to have high assist numbers for us will be important because it's going to take everybody.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you all.